Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. As you hear all the backgrounds of what's going on here, people working on their stuff, mowing, all sorts of stuff. But as for me, doing a paid request from my friend Mike, OCP Communications. Thank you so much for that, my friend. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 1985 film Fletch, which had been a long time since I've seen the film, but based on a series of novels that I had never read. And when the film came out, was a good-sized hit. It definitely helped Chevy Chase's career, having films like National Lampoon's Vacation and this film, among other, Caddyshack, that made him a pretty big star in the 80s. Now this got a sequel a couple years later, Fletch Lives. And then really nothing was done until I think John Hamm starred in Confess Fletch, which I forget what year that came out. I think within the past 5 years. Now, I remember for a while in the 2000s, Kevin Smith wanted to do a Fletch film. He did not get along with Chevy Chase, so he wanted to do a prequel that might have had Jason Lee as Fletch. Maybe that could have worked. I don't know. I mean, I am surprised they did not try to reboot Fletch with Ryan Reynolds as the lead. Because I would say Ryan Reynolds is probably the closest we have to a Chevy Chase today. Just that manner and that deadpan quality they can showcase. But this, I mean, it definitely is a highlight of Chevy Chase's career, of that deadpan humor, that you just say stuff so matter of fact, but at the same time, it's ridiculous, so it comes off fairly funny. And it was directed by Michael Ritchie, who had done The Bad News Bears, the original. He also did my favorite comedy, The Golden Child, with Eddie Murphy. He would do quite a few films afterward. The film stars Chevy Chase as his LA Times reporter, where he's looking into this drug stuff going on this beach. While he's undercover, he gets picked up by this guy played by Tim Matheson saying, "I have an opportunity, a job for you." And when he goes to his house and it's explained, "I want you to kill me." He's like, "What?" "Yeah, I'm dying of cancer, bone cancer. I want you to kill me. If I ended my life, it would not fit the insurance policy. So on this date and time, if you do this certain thing, you kill me, my family gets the insurance policy, and you get about $50,000 in a ticket to Rio." Chevy Chase says yes because he's wondering what this is all about, what's going on here. And then from then to when that date happens, it's him investigating what's going on with this guy, find out that he's not really sick, so there's definitely some mystery afoot. There is a connection between that and what's going on the beach with the drug thing that may involve the chief of police, played by Joe Don Baker. And the movie goes on from there, the investigation. What makes the film work is Chevy Chase. He does a great job with his the dialogue he's given, and maybe some of the stuff he ad-libbed. And again, just these off-the-cuff things that he'll say that, again, because of the deadpan tone, can elicit a laugh. I mean, I don't think this is the funniest movie ever. I would not call this my favorite comedy of the 80s, and I would say, like, again, the Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, I laughed more at. John Candy films like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I laughed more at. There's a few others, but with that said, there's still quite a few moments that were humorous. A couple car chases I thought were pretty well done. Fantastic music. I think the song at the beginning, Bit by Bit by Stephanie Mills, has a very energetic beat to it. Bit by bit, da-na-na-na-na-na, bit by bit, da-da. It really gets you pumping and ready to enjoy the ride that the film hopefully takes you. And Harold Faltermeyer's theme Beverly Hills Cop before in '84, then this in '85. He's the guy that get to you when you want the synthesizer theme. And he did a great job also in Tango and Cash in '89. Just the guy you want to get, and I love the theme. Just a fantastic theme that fits the film like a glove. And a lot of, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this. At least 10 years at least. So I forgot the other recognizable people on this. On the Beach, one of the people is George Wendt. TV show Cheers. He's in it. The guy who approaches him and with the offer to please kill me was Tim Matheson, who is in Animal House and been in quite a few films afterward. Geena Davis, I completely forgot Geena Davis was in this. She's someone who works with Chevy Chase at the newspaper. Completely forgot she was in this. I'm like, what the fuck? Geena Davis in this? That was a nice, like, surprise. Which shouldn't have been a surprise because I've seen the film before, but I'm like, I completely forgot. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, other bit parts. One of the cops, he's only for a little bit, is James Avery. Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the voice of Shredder in the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon. Very briefly, but he appears in there. I know the other cop. I know I've seen him before. I cannot remember where, but I know I've seen the other cop that James Avery was with. I know I could not put my finger on it, though. And of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as an appearance as himself during a fun dream sequence. But again, the movie itself is this mystery that Fletch is trying to solve as he goes over the details, trying to find out what's going on with this guy. If he's in good health, why does he want to end his life? Finds the guy's wife who plays tennis and tries to get info out of her. Tries to look into the guy's parents, associates. Has to deal with Joe Don Baker, who pretty much threatens his life. Excuse me. And it's an interesting enough mystery that kept me intrigued to see where this was going, and I won't give that away for people that want to see the film. But, oh, Emmett Walsh, that's another guy, another character actor who would be in, Missing in Action, the first one with Chuck Norris, Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren. He was the sheriff in the first Critters film. Sally, he's no longer with us, but that's another character actor in this. Yeah, some nice recognizable people. And the disguise he goes under, there's some entertainment bits were involved with that. But like I said, it was really Chevy Chase in his heyday. Being able to get those lines out, and I wrote some of them down. That's really the big joy of the film, is with great music, pretty good pacing. I was never really that bored. And just like some of the stuff he would say, like when we first see him, he's undercover as his junkie. And he's narrating about who he is, and then he just throws out, I don't shower much. Just throws it out there. When Tim Matheson comes up with a proposition, Chevy goes, does this proposition entail me dressing up as Lobo Peep? And then when Tim is trying to give him some guff, he's like, don't talk to me like that, ass face. I don't work for you just yet. I like the banter he has with his boss at the LA newspaper place, where the boss is like, you can't run an ad and then not run the ad. And then Chevy, without missing a beat, going, you can't? Why not? Shit, really? You can't do that? Like, a perfect validity of wise-assness. That's what I mean. Like, I think the closest you come to Chevy Chase today would be Ryan Reynolds. when he says dialogue in Deadpool films or even Six Underground and some of these other movies. Whether you think it's better or worse, that's up to you. But I think the closest you get to a Chevy Chase type is Ryan Reynolds today. That's why if you... I don't know how many novels there were of Fletch. Let me look that up, actually. How many Fletch novels were there? I mean, if you want to adapt one of those novels with Ryan Reynolds as Fletch, I would actually be open to that. And I'm not really a guy open to reboots. I'm not saying it needs to be a reboot that needs 4 or 5 movies. I'm just saying Fletch 1, Confess Fletch, which that was made by John Hamm, Fletch's Fortune, Fletch's Boxy, Fletch Reflected, Son of Fletch, Fletch 2, Fletch and the Man Who, Karaoke Fletch, and of course the original Fletch. So, there you go there. So there you go with that. So, I mean, I get this up to... But, I don't know if nowadays people know, like, well, does the mainstream audience know about Fletch? People like me and you know about Fletch, but I don't know if the mainstream audience know about Fletch. That's why Confess Fletch came out. Really didn't do anything. Like, I didn't hear anybody talk about that film. But yeah, to get back to the film, did get more into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, be prepared for spoilers. Parts that made me laugh. With Emma Walsh, the doctor, he's trying to talk to him, but he's got to do a physical. And, of course, you know what the doctor's doing. So he's like, Moon River. Using the whole fist, doc? Hey, you ever serve time? Which I like. Hey, doc, you ever serve some time? There's when he goes back to his apartment and the person is a lawyer that needs, because his former wife needs alimony. So he's able to have enough money to give to the guy that he's like, here's $10. Keep it for yourself and get a nice piece of ass. I don't know what nice piece of ass you get for $10. It can't be that nice. There's the bit where James Avery and the other guy, as cops, grab and search him. He's like, what's this? And he's like, that's my dick. And like tells the guys, hey, why don't you guys go to the gym and pump each other up? Or there's a bit where now that the cops are getting more involved and the cops are after him, this poor kid, he like BS's his way. Oh, I'm checking smog emissions. Let me see if your car's got enough of smog emissions. Do you have a license? Okay, no, don't worry, neither do I. And the cop's like, pull over. He's like, yeah, I did pull over once. I pulled over before. I'll pull over later. And it's a pretty cool, fun car chase. Like, good practical work, good choreography, close calls, and him kind of commentating the whole thing. Oh yeah, these guys are my buddies, and hiding behind the truck and then going behind the cop car, maneuvering so the cops crash into various obstacles. So yeah, it's one of those films that Chevy Chase is on all cylinders. I mean, not every joke lands. I would say it was fine for the scene because it's away from the get out, but when he's chased by the cops, he goes into like where a bunch of old veterans are at. he takes a hat and he gets them to sing, to praise the cops, and gets them the Star Spangled Banner, and he gets out of Dodge. It's not that it was a bad scene. It's just like, okay, whatever. Kind of like, oh. And it wasn't that I thought it was bad. It's just, whatever. Let's move on to the next scene. He had to find a way to get out of it. He did. But it's not like a scene I loved or like, oh, I'm going to go back and rewatch that scene or anything. I didn't mind the bit where he was undercover as the pilot and he didn't know what the hell was going on, so he had to BS his way as to where parts of the plane was. Ball bearings, all about ball bearings. Everything's about ball bearings nowadays. So I did like that because I liked his demeanor. I don't mind the look that he had. Very much different type of look that he had before. And of course the dream scene where he is a big Lakers fan. He's wearing Lakers shirts. He's got Lakers stuff in his office and he's watching the game and he's sleeping. So in his daydream he thinks of him as the star. So he has this big perm and doing this dribbling and doing this stuff. I like that it's all done in like old TV footage. And it's quick enough so it doesn't overstay its welcome. Some like have the dream, but have the dream scene be like 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long. Here it's like a couple minutes, enough to get the joke and laugh, and then move on with the story. I did like the bit where, oh, he's really tenacious, and then you see Chevy get ready to bite an arm, it stops, and then the movie goes on from there. So that got a chuckle out of me. Great music, great theme music, great score by Harold Faltermeyer. Direction that kept the movie paced well enough to not get too old, too boring. Nice to see some familiar faces like Geena Davis. It's nice to see her in there. Working with Chevy. Helping as much as she can. Intriguing of mystery to see all the little obstacles, whether it be dogs trying to attack Chevy or a guy with a gun that he's like, your shoelaces untied, able to get the hell away from there, chased by cops. A little bit of smooching with Tim Matheson's wife, which is not really his wife because of he had a different wife, an older wife before. So anyway. Either way, I said, other than, once in a while a joke was like, whatever. The ending, I wouldn't say it felt rushed. It's like, okay, here's the bad guys. Spoilers, super spoilers. There's Tim Matheson, then there's Joe Don Baker, then one shoots the other, and then they hide, and then here's a little bit with a lighter, a little bit of a battle. Granted, I'm not expecting some big action set piece. It's more of a comedy than anything. Maybe I was expecting something a bit more clever, a bit more witty. But it felt like something that would kind of how an episode of a TV show would end. Just kind of like a little thing, little punch here, hit on the noggin, end of story. So yeah, I'm not expecting a massive sequence, but maybe just a little bit more intricate, or a little bit more clever. But with that said, it's a fun movie. It's a very entertaining film. If you like 80s comedies, if you like comedies with an element of mystery, or if you like Chevy Chase, you like that deadpan humor, it's definitely worth a watch for anybody who's a fan of any of that stuff. So, fun to watch again. Thanks to my friend Mike. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.